Hi, my name is Selena Maneri, and this is my Design 2 final. The objective of this presentation was to design a sacred space and monument based off of President research. The site is located in Prairie View, Texas, slightly off the campus of Prairie View A&M University. It has high levels of vegetation, such as grass and trees, and there's a creek that runs alongside the site. Before the university occupied the land, it was formerly known as the Alta Vista Plantation. When slaves would pass away and were laid to rest, they were buried alongside the creek, which is why this site is so sacred. When I first started my president research, I was tasked with researching Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a prominent figure during the civil rights movement who advocated for the liberation and empowerment of all Black people. Tricentric is a quantitative word meaning someone in their 30s. During the height of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, Malcolm X was in his 30s and was later assassinated in 1965 at the age of 39. As you can see in the partee, I use radial and organization and hierarchy to represent his personality as a dominant figure who was able to radiate his ideas to others. Dauntless is a qualitative word, and I use datum and linear organization to represent his motives, his strong motives to move forward. The first monument I researched was the Embrace. Located in Boston, Massachusetts by Hank Willis, it's a statue that commemorates MLK. It is based off of a picture of MLK hugging his wife, Coretta Scott King, and it symbolizes strength. It's a dominant figure that sits on a circular pathway with oblique pathways leading up in a almost spiral formation. I chose to make partees based on this because I felt it was something that drew me in. The next monument I researched is the Monument of the Fallen Soldiers, located in Montenegro, made by Svetlana Kana-Redvik. She was the first female architect in her country. It is to commemorate those who died in World War I, II, and the Bosnian War, which can be seen on the three smaller platforms. I chose cluster and radial organization to represent the materials, which are predominantly made up of stone to show that roughness. I chose access and hierarchy to display form, as there is a dominant figure that is able to connect with smaller figures along the property. The sacred space I researched was the Meditation Chapel, located in Gangwon, South Korea. It was made by architect Lee Eun-suk as requested by a small prayer group. This space is pretty minimalistic. It's made up of concrete and glass. The space uses light and other natural materials, such as the exterior nature, to convey the ideas of the individual's connection with the divine. The space has a large front-facing window that looks out onto the West Sea, while also using other windows, such as the small slit window at the top and the stained glass window. I further researched this by making partees based off light, and I used transformation and axis, and then symbolism, which I used transformation. So my church is called the Church of Remembrance. My concept is rekindling connections with the past, and my concept statement is reconnecting with and highlighting the importance of the land and how PV gave it new significance. As you drive up to my site, you'll park into the parking lot and walk up on the oblique pathway. The pathway is lined with water and grass. The water represents new life and rebirth. As you walk up to the pathway, there are 3 pools or fountains. They represent past, present, and future. Just like a story, they build up in size and lead up to the main sacred space. Because my sacred space is of circular form, I decided to indent the entrance to create emphasis on the entrance. Once you walk in, you are met inside the courtyard, which gives an inside feel, but it's actually technically still outside. To your left, there are 2 bathrooms. If you walk forward, you will meet the elevator leading to the upstairs deck, or you can enter the church. And then if you go to your right, you can find the chamber of reflection or the stairs, which then also lead up to the deck. And then you can see my exploded form. The main sacred space is the church. It has a large front-facing window. I wanted to use my president research to explore how light can liven up a space. Not only light, but materials. I chose to add wood floors in this space to warm the space a little bit because the other exterior spaces are mainly concrete. The large window allows for light to come in and represents the coming of a new day as it looks towards the east. As the sun gradually sets throughout the day, you still will get that natural light through that skylight up top. And I wanted to add that green, the green stained glass to connect to my president research and have the further idea of connecting with the land, with nature. My private sacred spaces to the left, there is the small prayer area, which can be accessed through the church. It is an area where one can come alone or with a small group to come together in prayer. There is a small skylight because I did not want to add any smaller lower windows because I wanted the space to feel modest and secluded, but still allowing for that natural light. And then you can see that on the bottom. And then on the right, I have the chamber of reflection. It is a smaller space. And I wanted to add that light filler also based off my president research from the chapel to allow for light to filter in throughout the day. And then the viewing deck, which can be accessed by stairs or the elevator. And I wanted to include the elevator so that it would be accessible to all. And the deck looks towards the west, also towards the creek, representing looking towards the past. So the building in its entirety is a representation of how one could look towards the future while also recognizing the past. Thank you for listening to my presentation.